What's going on, everyone? We finally have it, man. We have the Destroyer of Light dialogue here to break down for everyone here, man. I am so excited for this event, man. I've been calling it since day one of this year, man. I was like, dude, Null is coming. And I was like, dude, as soon as like King of Black, the story came out this year, I was like, dude, Null has to be coming. I mean, we've literally had Sim Supreme leading the entire symbiotes in the entire game, except for Venom, which we found out in 7.1. That for a reason unknown. And I was like, dude, if you read Absolute Carnage and you read King of Black, it's like Null is summoned by with Carnage's help. And I was like, dude, Sim Supreme is that white. He is that vessel to help out. So yeah, we finally have it. This is really sick because, dude, this has been like, this ties in a lot of different events in the contest. I've gone over this, ties into the MROC event. We had Nova, who actually left that event to call in a distress, to answer a distress signal from the symbiote lands, which we didn't know, which is in like the top right corner of the battle realm, which it's just a barren wasteland basically, which is really cool. We finally get to visit here again, and we're gonna figure out what this distress call is about, and man, we're gonna have to destroy the King in Black, man. Alright, so here we are arriving at the edge of the symbiote lands, which we kind of hear like cries and chitters and alien landscape. It's basically a planet full of symbiotes. Like, I mean, obviously this is the battle realm, so it's not a planet, but it's basically a large part of the planet. And so you're just going to hear, obviously, all that like carnage of those like just goos of Clintars. So anyways, Nova says, hey, appreciate you, response summoner. I can always count on you. You know, everyone can count on us. We're the summoner. Like, everyone, if you're in trouble, you call a summoner, 1-800 summoner, we're there. Yeah, so he's keeping it brief, basically saying, hey, distress signal, which we knew, obviously previous event kind of teased it. Not a nice place at the best times, but the message was strange and ominous. I'm pretty sure it was the MROC event. It could have been it was or in the summer. Either way, we had him have a distress signal. We didn't know where he went, which is pretty cool. And then last month we obviously had the Kitty Pryde side quest event, which obviously her and the Marauders helped us find these dreams, understand these dreams of Stevie reaching out to us, which is really cool. All right, here he is. He is here. Overrun is the message, which the distress call was. He's like, not exactly, you know, like, I don't understand what that means. I need to investigate. And so basically it's saying it's a traverse, like the Clintar planet is like a traverse, always changing and shifting, which is really cool. I don't know much about the planet itself. I just know obviously it encased and imprisoned the King of Black Null, because obviously the symbiotes betrayed him, because obviously he was just all evil and dark, and they're like, I don't really want to do that, you know, we're not out here to do this. And so they entrapped him in the planet, and it's basically a planet made of thousands, millions, and billions of symbiotes. So it's insane. And it's just a wasteland. You can kind of see it in the Red Goblin, and obviously in this month's motion comic, which is really cool. Check out that motion comic. It's really short, and you can check it out, and you can kind of understand what it looks like, but it's pretty cool. I don't mean to pry, but he's like, someone's following us, which is really interesting. Like, why is someone following us? And we were like, the summoned symbiote is chittering and waving at us. So yeah, this is actually really cool. I'm not sure if this means like summoned symbiote's already on our team and he's been with us ever since our last event, which is really cool, or if this is him he was like, hey, we traveled to the symbiote land and he's here, and he's like, oh, I recognize you, we fought with you. So this is just really cool that it's just like, it's so much lore building. I love it. All right, friendly enough, don't think I'll cause any problems. Oh man, my webcam is covering him, but you'll see him in a bit that he's a little different than last time. If you don't know what the summoned symbiote is, he is a symbioid, which means he's an adaptoid. Actually, he's a universal class adaptoid, which means basically he's all the classes combined, which is why he's a white symbioid. He's a white adaptoid, which was in the game files actually, and then he became a symbioid because he had the symbiote put on him with I think it was the Maestro or the Collector. I think maybe it was the Collector. I'm pretty sure. And basically they were on Battle World, and you just filled the planet with Clintars and adaptoids. And that's where in Act 4 we actually go and kind of rid away all the symbiotes basically. And so then we banished them to the symbiote lands, and that's kind of where they stayed ever since. And we've had certain events that happened there. And so yeah, he's basically saying friendly enough because obviously he's a lot different than the other symbiotes. Like, he was the best friend of ours. Like, he helped us out, about, you know, defeat Symbiote Supreme for the time being, until he kind of, you know, started making all the symbiotes follow him. But it's quickly apparent that it's Venom. So basically we find out that someone's calling for us, and we find out that it's Venom in the shadows over there, and he twitches and snarls at us. He's kind of like mad basically. He's like, out of our way, we don't need you in our way, we're gonna go straight for Null and defeat him. And he's basically saying, hey, I didn't call that, we just need to move on, we need to go to Null. And so we defeat Venom because obviously obviously everyone fights us every time they have a conversation, so it's just how it is. He's like, who is he? Because we actually don't know who Null is in the contest. He's actually never been specifically mentioned, to say the least, and so no one really knows that he was coming except for Venom, which we got a little tease of. And so obviously this happens right after the motion comic, which I really like, because certain motion comics usually never actually happen right as the event happens, or it kind of happens during the event. It's kind of weird with the motion comics, right? If you've read the dialogue, you understand this. Like, motion comics don't ever tell the same story. They just have like to hype up the event. But this one specifically takes place right before the dialogue starts, which I really like. Like, I really like this. Is so cool. So it's what I've always wanted. And basically, obviously, you saw in motion comic that he fought Null with the help of somebody, and we had that thing. So this is him being defeated, and then this is us finding him after his defeat, and he's like telling us who Null is. He's the originator, the creator of the symbiotes, our enslaver. He is Null. Obviously, he created the symbiotes. That's why he's the god, the originator, and obviously he did enslave them, obviously, and then they kind of enslaved him. Like, it's kind of funny how they rose up against him and trapped him on the planet, but he's escaped from that planet, and he's out here to come to the battle realm, and he wants to control all the wills of the symbiotes, which we've actually gotten before with Red Goblin before, but it didn't really work. So it's very interesting. He says he has come to the battle realm, and now he seeks to control the will of symbiotes. Those who not bend the knee are forced, and those who cannot forced are processed and repurposed. Because obviously he created the symbiotes, so he can kind of morph them however he wants. They're his an extension of himself, which is really cool. Obviously, bend the knee. I feel like we're getting a lot of Game of Thrones references here, which just kind of teases me, like Eternals next month with Black Knight and someone else. So I just like that, because we have a king in black. You know, you have those King in Black riding a dragon. I mean, how much Game of Thrones can you really get here? So I think that's just maybe a little hidden thing, but we'll definitely know the Eternals are coming. So I'm really excited for that. And we had kind of like last month's event with the Black Order, like maybe something to do with Black Knight. I'm really interested to see, because they're in the Black Quadrant, which was with Thanos' old stomping ground. So there's a lot to tease, which I really like too, is that we can kind of see these things. All right, anyways, we're here. Fortunate, the glowing one arrived at the moment of our reckoning. So we do know who this glowing one is. The glowing one in the King of Black, to me, that's obviously the force, that the Enigma force that helps Eddie Brock become the new King of Black. He defeats Null with his power, so that's what my instant thought is. But obviously, since we've read the motion comic and we know anti-venom's in the game, we know the glowing one is actually Martin Lee, Mr. Negative. So it's really interesting that we kind of have this little difference from the King of Black comics, where it's the Enigma Force, Captain Universe power, versus actually Martin Lee's power, the Light Force, which I think is really interesting, because they're both playing on the idea of light versus dark. So it's not exactly King of Black left and like 100 to 100% accuracy, but it's using what's already built up in the contest, which I really like. All right, so I do not know who he is. He uses his power to ward off the symbiotes, which we saw in the motion comic, and it allowed him to break us free. Basically, all the symbiotes are basically taking Venom and sinking him to the bottom of the planet, but he's actually saved by Mr. Negative, who turns him into anti-venom, or at least makes a copy. I'm not really too sure, because Venom's here. That happened, and it seemed like he turned into anti-venom, but now it seems like it made a copy of himself. It's really interesting to see what's happening. But he says he even transformed another one of us. So maybe there were two Venoms. Maybe all the Venoms are coming here to defeat Null. I'm not too sure what's happening, but it is really cool that they're still tying into the motion comic. Sound like we have someone on our side, so obviously we're gonna go find out who it is. And like, here it is. Here's a symbiote. He's wearing the Null Spiral, which, if you don't know, obviously Absolute Carnage. Null Carnage had that. It made him that version of Carnage, because that was the difference. Oh, my dogs are barking. Sorry about that. And so, that's what makes we know that's Null symbol. We've seen it before. Deadpool actually had it in his boss rush event like 2 years ago, around there. That was like the first time we ever saw it. And then we've had little other teases here and there, so it's pretty cool. Basically, he can't speak English, because he's I'm guessing he's more of a symbiote than he is actually an adaptoid, which I kind of like. So he can only speak this Clintar language, which, if you've seen Venom 2 or if you've read the comics, you'll know that it is like, there's not really an English translation of it. So it is pretty funny that we actually do have that still continuity. All right, Venomtide suddenly whips to the side. He dives in front of the summoner. A bladed symbiote claw bursts from the riding earth, and Venom deflects it viciously mad, and laughter echoes from all of them. Oh man, Carnage. We know it's Carnage, man. Helping out the fleshies also. Come on, Dad. Oh man, I wish I could do the Carnage voice from the Spider-Man 90s show, because dude, that was like perfect. Because dude, it's so cool. So Carnage is here, obviously, Absolute Carnage. We knew he was gonna be here. And obviously, we knew that he was following with Symbiote Supreme, so it's pretty cool. All right, we defeat Carnage. Get him out of here, man. He's not the main villain here. We're after Null himself. Carnage is a reminder of our own feelings. Obviously, you already know about Carnage, and you can watch Venom 2 if you don't know. Now we don't have match for the devices, so he was basically saying Venom didn't call. It was actually the glowing one, and basically we know his powers are pretty much probably going to be the helping factor to defeat Null. Anyways, we find Agent Venom here, which is really interesting because King of Black also we have anti-Agent Venom. Which was a helping force for Venom in the comics too, which is pretty cool. But he's an agent of Null instead of we're like kind of wondering why this is. But basically, a groaning wall of symbiote biomasses arise from the wall, almost like the wall in Game of Thrones. Biomass rises from behind the heroes, surges them forward into pinching them all. So basically, trapping them in. And Nova actually says, I'm going to go away because I'm going to help you out later down the road. So let me scout out and let me help you out. The path darkens. We defeat Agent Venom, and then we actually start seeing a path ahead. Darkened structure of living mass. Just the darkness of the planet with all these symbiotes echoing, chittering. Oh, man, it just sounds gross. We are with you, Summoner, but we know is to turn back. You must face Null or die in his kingdom. Oh man, this is so cool, man. This is so cinematic too. I love the way they're telling this story, because we're really, it's like a giant boss battle. I mean, we're really defeating the symbiote creator, the god of darkness, the god of the void. It's really interesting. Summoner symbiote pats the summoner on the shoulder and points ahead and nodding at Venom. We are ready to go, man. But we do see Mr. Negative here. He's a little bit defeated, or at least catching his breath, and we still call him the glowing one. He's like, hey, my name's Martin Lee. I'm guessing these two are with you. It seems like now all the Clints are working with this Null character, which we did see obviously in King of Black. Not all the symbiotes. Venom specifically is the betrayer of the symbiotes. He was, if you read his story that was changed over the couple of years, you saw that everyone calls him the betrayer. Because he left the planet. And so it's pretty cool. He says, we're grateful for your earlier intervention. Read the motion or watch the motion comic, you'll understand. Best I could do for a bad situation. Let's find your counterpart. Specifically counterpart, man. We're getting anti-venom, so it's so cool, man. Going to be the key to stopping Null, which is really interesting. Summoner last we met his enemies. So obviously we did have the Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative event, where basically he was like, I'm pretending to be a good guy, but actually I'm a bad guy. So that's basically what happens, which is, I knew Martin Lee was a bad guy, but he's like, I don't know, he's got ambitions, what kind of makes him a bad guy. That's pretty much what it is. So we're kind of just putting our differences aside, and he was basically saying, hey, I came to symbiote lands to see how my powers will work on these symbiotes, and I didn't expect it to encounter a hive mind, which obviously is Null. He basically see everything that's happening, every single symbiote. Like that truly makes him very powerful. And he was assuming that his self-replication would spread his control. He was like, if all these symbiotes are a hive mind, well, if I put my power in that hive, I will control the hive. And that's exactly what did not happen. It kind of just the light force activated a different effect, and it turned one symbiote, that being a different Venom, into anti-venom, which is pretty cool. Bow to the Master, and Symbiote Supreme appears, says bow to the Master and be destroyed, which he's talking to anti-venom, and he's like, keep running your mouth, Merlin. I won't bend for your boss or anyone else. I think that's funny. Merlin obviously is a Marvel character. He helped with the Captain Britain story, Morgan Le Fay. Like, it's a whole Arthurian mythology is actually in Marvel Comics with I think it's Elseworld or Otherworld is what it is. And that's a part of the X-Men comics as well. It's really cool, but obviously Merlin just being a magician. This is Doctor Strange, who got a Clintar and became mad with power, kind of like in the What If you watch that episode, but he still himself a bit. All right, there he is. Lee's transformed, so we have Venom in himself. He's like, let's look into like a funhouse mirror, because obviously Venom is super buff and anti-venom is very skinny, so I like that. I like how they're acknowledging it. You are far too late, Summoner. You and your little band of more than meat harvest. My lord, the Abyss made the flesh. My lord, the Abyss, more King of Black. I love how I like how Kabam Cooper was like, yeah, we looked at King of Black. We specifically looked at King of Black, his biggest comics, and we're gonna dive in directly into that tie-in everything. So it's really awesome that we're getting specifically. All right, then out of nowhere, like he like comes into this pose, which pretty much the Collector does this, where he seizes champions and he's like, I submit to the contest of what they say, because he uses his powers on them. So this is Null doing it. He's like, I seize you, and he's like, I will burn you upon the pyre of his name, and the blaze shall grow, which I really like. It's like, it's just really cool that they're calling back to when the Collector was in the contest and he was seizing people, and they're like, I submit to the contest, and this is him saying, I submit to Null. All right. Anyways, we defeat Symbiote Supreme because obviously he's been leading the symbiotes for these past 3 years, and now he actually did call no when he's in the game. So we got to go fight the big bad. Hard to say I was like you, but not anymore. I think I'm just Eddie now. And he's like, not we, which is really cool. Venom and Eddie Brock are kind of like one, they have symbiosis, which is really cool. And anti-venom does not have the symbiote. He has a part of the symbiote. It's only portions of the symbiote, which helped him create anti-venom in the comics, with Martin Lee curing Eddie's cancer, which created anti-venom. So, like, a really separate symbiote. Like, it's basically a brand new symbiote. And we've seen a little difference of it in continuity change with the new Agent Venom, so you can kind of read about that and understand that. Anyways, summon symbiote's like, hey, I have questions, or that's not him talking, but he's basically just pointing ahead. And Noel's ambitions are about as big as the Doctor, very strange back there implied. He plans to bind all symbiotes, mass, and beings into the battle world into a single creature, which, holy crap, that sounds scary as hell. The entire battle realm into one giant monstrous symbiote. Oh man, that is not good. He wants to recreate the Empire of the Abyss in the contest. If you've read King of Black, you kind of know that basically before the Celestials were here, there was just nothingness. There was darkness. You see this in so many religions, so many things. Like, there was just, once there was darkness, then there became light, which was the Celestials from Marvel Comics and the one below and the one above all and all that. And basically they brought the lights, and Noel was like, you woke me up. And then he beheads a Celestial, which is You Have Nowhere, which is in the game actually, which is really cool. And then obviously he was fighting with another Celestial. His sword was all black, was taken. So yeah, a lot of tying into King of Black, which I love. Like, it's perfect. Anyways, so Martin did it with the team. We have to understand, like, basically he's saying he's immune to Null because he's not specifically a symbiote, he's just parts of a symbiote, and that gives him a different, because he's with the Light Force, which is really cool. Speaking of Null, obviously we still have, like, he's wearing the symbiote, and he's like, old friends, huh, because he's speaking the language. Yeah, I mean, we are old friends. This is our old summoned symbiote, little Stevie, man. It's really cool, and he's like reached out through one of Null's nightmares. Pretty smart little guy, so it's really cool. So I wonder if he was kind of like Onslaught in the comics right now, or before he was defeated, where he was like putting out nightmares to everyone. And this is I wonder if Null is doing that, and someone was like, oh, if the summoner is getting them, I can contact them through this. So that's pretty cool. I really like that. Festering structures of symbiote materials looms ahead, twist into the imposing gargantuan fortress. We are close. We can hear the whispers. Oh yes, the symbiote whispers of the god. Anti-venom suddenly clutches ahead, stumbling forward. So it looks like he's being seized by Null, kind of how we saw before. And then we actually have Null speaking to us. Did you think I cannot see you, my errant child? Did you think I have not been watching you? Because obviously, like I said before, you can literally see through any symbiote ever, all at the same time too, which is crazy. Do what you have to do, because he's kind of like conscious. So we defeat him and we move on, and the summoned symbiotes, like we're seeing Venom, or I forgot who it was who said we are experienced this several times. Some symbiote places his hand on its hips proudly, so it's pretty cool that they're fighting Null, like within themselves, kind of control, which I like to see because we had that in King of Black. Anyway, so the group possesses forth into the fortress, walking through the churning halls, horrific visages appearing and vanishing in the walls, demonic shrieking echoes. That just sounds terrifying. Like, so demonic. Like, that's like Castlevania, like hell, basically what it sounds like. You cut through a puppet and symbiote alike, all unhopelessly to do what? Is what Null's talking to us. I am God. How can being like you kill a god? What grand intoxicating innocence. Hope that you see an error of your ways before you reach me, and perhaps you will know my unique mercy. Which I think his mercy is just putting a symbiote on you and then controlling you for the rest of your life. So, is that mercy? I don't know. Have we perhaps overstepped? No time for your weakness, Leo. Must preserve. So yeah, this is time to kill Null, defeat him. Or I want to say defeat, not kill, you know what I mean? The shrieking grows intensely in dark shapes cutting through the shadows. Massive form. So we've seen the Grendel, the dragon that Null controls that we saw in the motion comic, and knows that stab hollowed ground. And oh man, this dragon is just freaking landing, flapping its giant wings, just straight scene out of Game of Thrones, man. I love it. And now you'll be punished for your insolence, for my children, millennia of torture, and others, pain beyond death. And for you, the defiant Hyperate, we'll see how attached you are to the summoner while you watch them die. Because obviously, Adaptoid plus Symbioid, Summon Symbioid, we have all those, that Hyperate is what he's talking about, which is pretty cool. The Summon Symbioid growl, standing in the summoner, you have brought this on yourselves. And in the final chamber, Null rests upon a throne. Bone, flesh, simply points to the summoner, their allies, and the symbiote dragon descends rapidly from above before it can touch the earth. Searing beam of energy severs its head from its body, bro. Nova strikes it through the sky, taking a defensive position. He just beheaded a freaking dragon right in front of our eyes. Holy dude, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. That is the darkest I think a contest has ever been. It's probably my favorite lore piece. Holy crap. Told you I'm back, but not much. Or sorry, told you I'd be back, but it bought us some time. So Nova, obviously, we saw him go away, and he came back. We will help Nova too, Mr. Negative. Spread No's blood on the dirt, summoner. I suppose it only makes sense. Please get us out of the summoner. We only get one shot. Let's make this all count. I love it, like Game of Thrones too, because you have like that one shot. You have to kill the Night King. You get one shot to kill him. So this is really cool because the Night King, obviously, he spreads his, if you watch Game of Thrones, you understand the reference, like, you know what I mean? So I love this. Like, it's so cool. I love it. The summon senior places his hand on his summoner's shoulder, points at Null with the others, and it conjures the same fish. And says the language, come then embrace your destruction, Null says. And that is it, man. We defeat Null, and that's the end of this event, man. Holy crap. I loved this event. This might be my favorite event this year because, dude, last one's event was good. MRock event was good. And, yeah, man. So, anyways, guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely check out the Eternals month next month. I'm really excited for that. And then we have the December event with a Spidey Rogue. Oh man, dude, it's gonna be a great end of the year. 7.3 coming out too with King, and then I'm assuming Superior King with 7.4. That'll be really fun to see. But I love this, man. They've been teasing this for so long, and I'm finally glad we had him. And such Game of Thrones references, man. I really do hope we get Black Knight next month. I hope you guys enjoy your Summon Symbiotes back in your roster, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I will see you guys next time, and yeah, peace out, everybody.